Tu video de despedida. Pero no, ya parece que no se está desconectando.
Mira, es la cámara de captura.
Quedó todo registrado. Mira, ¿viste? Me encanta mostrar fotos. Ya, qué fome. No sé que sea como tan variado nuestro festival. Muy sí.
Me, not that well, honestly, and it is all due to the new Hunger Games book. Well, it's more of a prequel. Of course, you know what I'm talking about, because who doesn't, really? Well, but if you're not that chronically in line or you're not that interested in any type of media, I don't think that's the case. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video from a small channel. Whatever. Okay, so I will need some time to recover after finishing Sunrise on the Reaping. Whatever. Honestly, I haven't done that much crying since I reread Mockingjay, I believe. And I'm not talking only in terms of the series. I mean, of course, I actually believe that I did cry more with this book rather than with Mockingjay, because the thing is, with Mockingjay, the stakes were high, you know, like we had this fast-paced environment and things were happening over and over again. And the part when Peter is being and he's not in District 13 with Katniss and everyone, and she described how he looked in the interviews that Caesar made with him and everything. Of course, I would cry then, but I think the part that literally broke my heart into tiny, tiny pieces, I think we know what I'm talking about. It is more towards the ending, specifically a part that I have this vivid memory. First, when I was 13, of crying the whole night. It was everything so beautiful but so painful at the same time. The second time that I read Mockingjay, it was, oh my god, it was 10 years after, when I was 23, in 2023. Full circle moment. I was at my grandparents' house, so I was listening to the audiobook while, I don't know, maybe, no, I was not crocheting. I was doing something else while listening to the audiobook. But I reached that part and the book was coming to an end. So I sat down in the large couch that my grandparents have. And I don't know if my grandma was there, but I'm sure my grandpa was there. And also one of my cousins. Maybe there were more people, but they were in my vicinity, in more proximity to me. So maybe that's why I only remember them. But I swear to God, I had to pick a pillow and put it in my face just to cry. Honestly, like sobbing into the pillow in order for my family not to hear my utter cries of emotional pain I was going through. If I was going through it, I can't imagine how Katniss was feeling at the moment. This is not about Mockingjay. I don't know why I'd always seem to rumble, you know? All that to say, Mockingjay got me in certain points where I would cry my heart out, but in this book, it was a constant crying for help, for hope not to leave my body. And it was even worse knowing, I don't know, for example, the other tributes that went along with Haymitch. Even though I knew their fate, I was there hoping at least they didn't have a ugly death or something like that. For many of them, that wasn't the case, and that was the worst part. Now I listened to the audiobook and also read it on my Kobo, because in this channel we don't have a Kindle, we have a Kobo. Yes, ma'am. Also because we don't want to support Amazon. I don't know why in every video, well, not in every video, but I always seem to bring it up crazy. So yeah, like I literally had to remove my earphones several times from my ears because I didn't want to keep listening. Oh my god, so much pain, like deep in my core. I don't know. While I was reading it, I would think something like, wow, why is this book hitting so much harder in terms of the Hunger Games and like the actual games? I was very emotional during the first book as well of the trilogy, and I also suffered a lot throughout the games. But I believe since Haymitch kind of bonded with a lot of tributes, and the fact that didn't happen with Katniss, she was very guarded, never really let even Peeta in until, yeah, like we know the events. I don't have to tell you. They already mattered for Haymitch. And like the way he spoke about them with so much softness and tenderness for the ones he barely knew at some point. I remember my first crying about a death. I was in the bathroom. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this on the internet. Whatever. What else can I say? Well, I do have a lot to say, but Okay, Sophia, focus. I really like my whole body shattered into tiny pieces. I couldn't believe how hard it was hitting me. I don't know if it was the unfairness of it all or what. And then another death. I already told you about me removing my earphones. For some reason, I was also in the bathroom. I think I was coming out of the shower and I was doing my skincare, I believe. I had to leave my AirPod there and I just fell to my knees. I really went straight down to the ground and covering my whole face, tears spilling all over my face. And to make it worse, it wasn't a slow death, but there was more context to what was happening and to what image was feeling. So I stopped there for obvious reasons. And then in my way to work, began reading again. And I just stirred up again. I really needed to cry at the top of my lungs, but people was around me. The only thing I can say is that I didn't end up in good conditions. It was so funny because I was there in the bus, sat, and I was crying, and I was trying to just do this.
No! Oh, don't cry, are you?
But yeah, like nothing worked. I couldn't avoid crying again and again. I really wanted to like just not to stop reading, but just to stop everything about not my pain especially, but images. And then it was horrible as well in the afternoon, I believe, because I've said this many times, but I work during the weekends and I basically have to spend the whole day, both Saturday and Sunday, at the store I'm working in. So in the afternoon, I was talking with a colleague about the store, like where we were. And he mentioned something related to a dog, but well, he said a specific word. And that word was like not entirely related to the death of a character, but it was totally involved in how Image described the dire state of the corpse, how someone and how a child, because they all are children, how this child left the world. And I swear I wanted to cry again and just like kick my fists into the ground. I swear my eyes welled up right there. And then I just tried to act normal because that's what you do. Of course, I told everyone I was sad because I was reading the new Hunger Games book. But yeah, it wasn't a fun experience. But like it's such an important read, even if that means that I'll be emotionally unwell for the following months, maybe. Everything, but the whole end of the series makes it worth it. I know, but Haymitch deserves so much better. That's not even like a huge statement or anything. We already know it's true, but now to get the whole picture, the full story, it was necessary. However, how everyone says, I don't know if everyone says this, but for some reason I have the idea, the perception. If you have read the book and the discourse around it, you maybe get what I implied with that word. As I was saying, the truth is necessary, and for that same reason, to know it, it's one of the most painful things that you can experience. I'm reliving the book in the span of 15 seconds every time that I open my mouth. This is one of those books that doesn't leave you, even if you intend to. So that's why you should read it. Not me trauma dumping about this book. This is literally my literary trauma. And the previous one was Mockingjay, if that tells you something. Yes, I'm looking at you, Susan Collins. I'll try to move on with my life. Wait for the movie. I hope they do better than they did with Ballad. It is entertaining enough. It is a good movie, but I don't know if I could say it's a good adaptation. You don't have to be totally faithful to the primary source for it to be a good adaptation, but that's a whole topic for another day. Today is April 1st. April 1st? Why did I say that? April 30th. Tomorrow is May 1st. How time flies. Exciting things are coming. I'm thankful for Image and for him to give us his story. And I'll do better because he couldn't do better due to his circumstances. Literally, this month reads were all about high emotions, just feeling so much. Books, simply as that. And that's why I like to share my opinions of them on the internet, for they give us so much, even though we don't notice it. Stay cool and see you soon.